Hi.
Welcome back to Two Gays and a Digimon podcast.
Yeah, episodes 13 through 15.
Yep, today we're covering episodes 13 through 15 of Digimon Adventure 02. And, update, we liked these episodes better than the last ones.
You liked these episodes better than the last. I liked some of them better than some of the last ones.
Overall, they were better than the other ones.
I'm more excited to talk about this grouping than the last grouping. That is correct.
Yeah. So, our first episode today is episode 13, His Master's Voice / The Call of Dagomon. This episode, pretty weird. So, we got a Cody previously on.
We did, which I like, because Cody is, I've decided at this point Cody is my favorite of the new characters.
But I saw something in the previously on that I did not see in the episode that we watched. So they talked about the last episode, which was with Starmon and Deputy Mon in the showdown at the Digi-Corral or whatever. And it showed the scene where Starmon figures out that Yoli and Sora and their Digimon were busted out by Deputy Mon. And he gets like all mad, and then it shows like a health bar.
Oh, yeah.
I don't remember that from the episode.
I didn't even, consciously recognize that until you just said it.
Yeah, it looks like he's going, superpower.
Yeah, he's going Super Saiyan, Kamehameha.
Yeah.
Right?
So that was kind of weird.
That's the Dragon Ball?
Yeah, Kamehameha. Yeah. It's also just, a Hawaiian name.
Oh, okay.
So, this episode we start off at the school. Mm-hmm. And there's
Oh, actually, before we even get into the episode, I just wanted to say that I noticed about the theme song for the first time.
What?
The part that goes Digimon, those letters, the DIs pop up on the screen. I never realized that before.
Oh yeah,
they pop up on the screen during the theme song, and then the rest of the lyrics don't. The Digimon, digital monsters, Digimon are the champions. That doesn't pop up on screen, but the intro part does. And I was like, oh, so it took me, and maybe I did that in season 1 as well. So it only took me, 70 episodes to notice probably.
So we start off at the school, and TK and Kari are walking to class, and Kari seems distracted.
Yes.
We also hear some announcements over the PA system, which are very camp.
Yeah, running gag throughout the episode.
But I have feelings about those in this episode. So then Patamon and Gatomon are in a tree.
They are. They're just hanging out.
Talking about the kids, and Gatomon says that something's wrong with Kari, but she hasn't figured out what.
Well, she says Kari's been having bad dreams, specifically.
Yeah, but
waking up all sweaty.
She's not sure what's going on.
Yeah.
Kari won't tell her.
And then we don't really see those dreams either.
Well, we'll get there. So then Davis barges in on them into TK and Kari's walking, and then they all run off to class and whatnot. And then they're learning math, and TK roasts math.
What does he say?
TK is like, math is so boring. But then he notices that something's wrong with Kari. She's fading in and out of reality. Mm-hmm. And then we cut to Kari's perspective, and she's getting everything's getting foggy around her.
Mm-hmm. And then she gets scared, and she calls people out. She calls out for TK, Gatomon, Tai, but then also Yoli.
Well, I think it's supposed to illustrate that her and Yoli have become close friends.
Okay.
And she does not call out for Davis.
No, she does not.
She knows that Davis could not help her in this situation.
No. And then she passes out, and random girl behind her catches her.
Yeah, well,
and then
I think this part of the episode is supposed to illustrate that a lot of people really like Kari.
Yeah,
I'm not one of them. Oh. That's okay.
Oh,
so Kari's dreams. We see her getting called into a dark, mysterious, foggy ocean type area. What do you think that means? What do you think they mean? Her dreams.
Well, I mean, we see it later.
But do we? This episode leads to some questions.
This also leads to some questions. One thing I wanted to say before is when she passes out, I don't know if the dreams mean anything specifically. Mm. I think they're foreshadowing the future events of the episode, and I think that's as deep as it goes. Because she's not actually really seeing a dream. She's being pulled into the rest of the plot. But she passes out. She falls out of her desk sideways. A random girl catches her. Is oh my god, Kari! And then useless. I wrote the specific words. Useless man teacher. Are you okay, Kari? Would you like to go to the nurse's office? Okay, a child just passed out in your classroom.
She doesn't pass out. She doesn't fall.
She's falling out, and a girl's holding her head.
No, she wobbles in her desk, and then a girl gets up and kind of catches her, but is holding her by the shoulders, not by the. It's because of the art style. It looks like it's by their head.
Yeah, but
I was wondering because I think TK Davis and Kari are supposed to be of the age where, like, Kari may be getting, like, her first period.
Oh.
Or something like that. I think that that's what this episode has to do with. I think this episode has a lot of, like, Kari's womanhood. So, not necessarily, like, her, like her menstruation. This is very awkward for two people who do not experience this to talk about, but I am comfortable with the subject. I had more to say. What I thought was weird about this useless man teacher was that she did just kind of, like, she doesn't seem like she can, like, it would be safe to let her go somewhere by herself.
Yeah.
So he sends nobody with her.
Yeah.
I would be like, you, random girl who just caught Kari, you walk her to the nurse's office.
TK.
Or TK.
Yeah.
Or even Davis. Like,
yeah. Or get Ty in there and be like, your sister's...
Ty goes to a different school.
Oh, okay.
That's the reason.
Okay.
Ty.
I like your interpretation. My question for you then is, do you think it's possible that it was maybe... there's nothing in the animation that makes it very explicit. So I would say it's probably not explicitly about that in any case. But do you think it's possible that maybe they were hinting at that sort of angle in the original Japanese, and then the American audience, they were like, this is too adult for an American audience.
I have no idea, because honestly, this Dark Ocean, like, I'm not saying anything spoilery, it might come back in this season, but it also, like, it is not explained very well.
They heavily foreshadow
and
this episode.
And I think it is not explained very well in the sub either. Like, I don't think it's...
Yeah, it just kind of happens.
This is what I know. This is where I know a lot of people kind of fall off with 02's storytelling, is that it's not... This is a big plot point, and because we're clearly coming to the end of the Digimon Emperor arc.
I mean, are we?
Well, clearly, they keep hinting at Ken's master plan, which we will get to at the end of this recording. But we also, like, so obviously they have to start setting up what happens after Ken. I think that they were planning on having this be what happens after Ken. I will tell you right away, it is not what happens after Ken. We do not ever see this Dark Ocean like this again. Yeah.
Well,
so they set up this whole episode with this Dark Ocean, and obviously the Japanese title, The Call of Dagomon, is referring to the Call of Cthulhu.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it's very, like, Lovecraftian, which I definitely think Digimon designs take some inspiration from, like, Lovecraftian horror, which is neat.
Is Dagomon Scubamon in Japanese?
No, Dagomon is the giant monster that we see at the end.
Oh, okay.
So, while Kari is walking to the nurse, she is being, like, freaked out. Like, there's definitely a dark presence following her.
Yeah, and, like, the world around her fades, and it fades into this, like, weird grayish nothingness.
Wet. Like, she's getting sucked back into the ocean.
Yeah.
And she says something, like, to the effect of, Davis, you got me, I'm scared. And I was like, does she really think that Davis would try to do this to her?
Does she think Davis is smart enough to try and do this to her?
No, Davis loves her. Davis is, like, obsessed with her.
Yeah.
In, like, a way that is, like, semi-appropriate for a young boy to have a crush on a girl. Like, he would not try to hurt her like this.
No.
Jeez, this is the Kari that I find kind of annoying. I like her when she is, like, proactive and, like, present in the story and is not just, like, a damsel that has to be rescued. This feels very season 1 Kari to me. We also see a spooky Digimon-esque thing lurking behind a garbage can in the hallway, like, and Kari is frightened by it.
Yeah.
And then they're out of class.
Yeah.
And so TK goes to look for Kari.
Do they get out of class? It's like, does the bell ring? Because I wrote in my notes, I thought it was just like TK just decided to burst out of the classroom and run around yelling Kari's name.
Maybe it's time for lunch.
Maybe. But I don't see anyone else in the hallways. It's weird.
Maybe it's time for, like... Well, it's also, like, we don't care. Like, I think that this episode is set up for, like, everything is supposed to be a little creepy.
Yeah.
Like, we do not see any really adults. Like, even in the classroom with the teacher, we don't really see any details of his face. Like, we don't really see him. He's not really a character.
Yeah.
TK talks to the nurse, and she seems nice. I really liked her.
Yeah, she seems nice.
But we also don't see her. There's no one really in the hallway. So I think it's supposed to be kind of creepy. Then TK finds Kari outside. We get another PA announcement about the jelly donuts being in the pool. And then that's followed up by some kids we see in the background. So I was like, oh, look at them doing a bit with their own bit.
Yeah.
So, TK finds Kari sitting outside on a bench.
Yeah, she decided not to go to the nurse for some reason.
Yeah, I think because she's, forever damselified, but, like, she doesn't want to seem that way. So she is hesitant to, like, seek help from other people.
Yeah.
Because if she had just told TK what was up from the beginning of this episode, a lot of stuff could have been avoided.
Yeah, communication usually fixes most.
So this episode, I think, definitely fuels, like, the TK Kari shipping, if that wasn't already obvious.
Yeah. TK said something like, I just really care about you. I really
care for you.
So I care way too much about you to let something bad happen to you. And she was like, what? Yeah. And he's like, gotta go! Very, like, 2007, like high school movie made for, like, 12-year-olds.
Don't peek the microphone. You're make it harder for me to edit this.
Oh, I'm sorry.
That's okay. So then we see, like, it cuts to Kari, and she's, like, leaving the school. So maybe the school day is over, or, like, maybe she's just decided to leave. And Gatomon sees Kari, like, fading in and out of existence, and then Kari just disappears.
Yeah, and her bag, like, falls and hits the ground.
You would think that being transported to another dimension would not be that shocking to them.
Yeah.
Considering they go in and out of the digital world, like, every day.
They're fighting in the computer lab because they think that Kari went to the digital world.
Well, we don't even know that yet. Like,
oh.
TK doesn't even know that she's gone. Yeah.
Right, okay.
So, welcome to the Dark Ocean.
Yeah.
Woohoo!
Dark Ocean.
Dark
Give
Ocean.
it up for Dark Ocean.
Ladies and gentlemen, Dark Ocean. And Kari kind of is walking on the beach, and she's making a lot of sassy comments, which, okay, I'm going to talk about this now. I really appreciate the Digimon English dub sense of humor. I think it is most of the time very funny and appropriate. I think we could have done without half of the dub jokes in this episode.
Yeah, I think it's their attempt to break up the, like, eerie tone, but it just comes off as, like, weird. I think
that there's no reason to break up the eerie tone, because I think that, yes, this is a kid's show, but I think that less of it being a kid's show, it's more about being a show about kids. Like, this episode, very Stranger Things.
Yeah.
It's very Stranger Things.
It is.
I think Digimon actually has a lot in common with Stranger Things.
Mm-hmm.
More like the classic Digimon. I think the more modern Digimon stories have less in common in terms of, like, it being, like, a story where we don't really understand technology. Like, the newer seasons, we understand more about technology, but we have a more horror theme, so
yeah,
it still connects in that way. But anyway, we see that there is a lighthouse that casts a shadow. Like, it's casting a dark light. So this is a spooky place.
Yeah, spooky.
So now we know that Kari is missing. Like, Kari is not in the computer lab with everybody else.
Where Davis is roasting Yoli and Cody for being helpful nerds.
Yeah.
He's like, God, I wish I was ready playing soccer practice. Let's go outside where it doesn't smell like sweat socks. And
mostly, well, no, Demi Vmon says it smells like old sweat socks in there.
Oh, yeah. Whatever, they're both being rude.
But Yoli, once again, exhibiting why she should have the crest of knowledge. She's the one programming their D3s for, like, real-time communication.
Yeah.
And so they're, like, looking for Kari, but they cannot find Kari's signal anywhere in the digital world.
Yeah.
And then Gatomon comes in to tell them that she's not in the digital world and she went somewhere else. And Gatomon knows this because she saw Kari disappear.
Mm-hmm.
And then TK is very guilty over not having stayed with Kari. And he very, like...
Yeah.
He feels bad about it.
He goes, I let her down. It's very weird. Sometimes TK's voice acting is a bit weird.
Yeah.
Between this and they're like, leave them be!
Let them be!
Let them be! It's kind of, like, overdramatic sometimes.
But there's all the times where he's, like, a whole man, and I'm like, oh, TK, where did this voice come from? Maybe that's what the voice actor was going for.
Maybe
he was going for, like, a pubescent boy.
Yeah.
So Davis and TK argue over how to help Kari, and Cody is like, shut up.
Yeah, I was like, hell yeah, Cody. I was like, tell those fuckers.
Cody's like, this fighting literally does nothing to help us.
Yeah, because Davis is saying they should just go in and look for her, even though they can't find her on the thing. And
even
Cody's
though,
like, that's so stupid.
Even though they know, like, she's not in there. Like, Gatchaman was like, she's not in there.
Because Davis is what? Stupid.
Yeah. It's not a good look from a boy.
Yeah.
So I wrote that TK feels very guilty and he goes to the beach to look for Kari.
Yeah, and then at one point when they're on the beach, a news copter passes over them and they go, oh, a news copter. I wonder if there's another high-speed chase.
Patamon says that, and that to me is we did not need that. They could have just cut that whole thing.
Yeah. I was like, oh, maybe like the helicopter like also shows up in the dark ocean.
Yeah.
No. It just
I
flies
to say
over.
That TK feels very guilty. What are your thoughts on this?
Well, TK feeling guilty ties into my thoughts overall with the episode, which I think like the main takeaway from this episode is that TK is replacing Ty as Kari's like protector, because there are several times in this episode where Kari yells for Ty, yells for Ty's help, like I need Ty and Agumon or whatever, and Ty is not in this episode at all, but TK is, and TK is the one looking for her. So, for better or for worse, I think this episode is trying to set up TK as replacing Ty's role in that sense.
Do you think that could apply to what I said before about, like, Kari's womanhood, where, like, she's being passed on from having to be protected by her older brother?
Yeah.
To being protected by, like, a somewhat boyfriend?
Yeah.
Yeah. That's what I thought, too. And I also think Gatchaman ships TK and Kari because she says something on the beach when they're running, and then she tells TK that he's a lover, not a fighter.
Oh, yeah. I like that. That's a good point.
But Gatchaman...
That's a good point, unlike the point of the newscopter, which had no point at all.
TK and Patamon are, like, yelling for Kari's name, and TK is, like, really worried about Kari, and Gatchaman tells TK that he needs to lighten up, because Kari, she's a pretty tough kitten.
Yeah.
And I was like, that's right.
This kitty's got claws.
That's right. This pussy grabs back.
No.
So in the dark...
Well, we hope you enjoy your podcast, everyone. We're ending it forever.
And tune in next time where I have a different co-host. So in the dark ocean area, we see that Kari comes across a spooky tunnel, which is a very Digimon Survive. If you know, you know. And in the spooky tunnel, she finds some of those creepy Digimon again. And she tells them to stay away because she plays a lot of soccer. So she knows how to kick. So Kari plays soccer too? We've never seen Kari play soccer.
Yeah, you think she would not want to play soccer considering it almost killed her when she was a child.
But also, like, I don't know, I like the idea of, like, the Digidestined having different interests. To me, it's cool that, like, Ty and Sora in the first adventure explicitly say they played soccer together.
Yeah.
And, like, Davis plays soccer in this one. But, like, we don't... Like, I like that the other Digidestined are not interested in that, but they're still friends.
Yeah.
So we cut back to the human world, and in the computer lab, and Davis is still trying to get the Yoli and Cody to let him go into the digital world to look for Kari. Davis, it's not a good look for my main man, Davis. D-money.
No. Okay.
So then Kari figures out that these shadow creatures that are talking to her are called Scubamon.
Yeah, and they actually summoned her here somehow to help them after they got...
They're spooky.
They're spooky. They're just silhouettes with red eyes for like a
while.
Well,
their silhouette is the same as Divermon, who's another Digimon, but Divermon has like other parts. Like he has like a flipper, and he has a spearfishing gun and goggles. So I don't really know if they're supposed to be like Divermon or like a pre-Digivolve form of Divermon, but...
Yeah, and they tell Kari that they were just serving their undersea master, and then they woke up and were in this cave. They don't know how long they've been in there.
Well, they knew that they tell Kari that the Digimon Emperor came and put these dark spirals on them.
Yeah.
But they don't seem to be under anyone's control at all. They're freely talking to Kari. They're having a full conversation with her. It's very odd.
Yeah.
And then Airdramon comes and, well, the cave that they're in is collapsing, so they all have to escape. But then Airdramon comes and is also attacking them on the beach. And they can't really do anything.
And they say Airdramon's a servant of the
Digimon
Emperor.
This season really hypes up Airdramon, which is really cool. I know Lost in Translation Mon, who's a big Digimon YouTube personality, really loves Airdramon. And I like Airdramon too. I think Airdramon is shaped like a friend.
Mm-hmm.
This season really hypes up Airdramon to be really strong. Airdramon is it's just like Greymon with wings. Like, it's Seadramon with wings.
Yeah.
It's not that much stronger than any of the Digimon. It's kind of funny to me that they hype it up as being so powerful.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh my god.
Quentin reviews Salmon Cat.
I watched the 5-hour-long video of the Salmon Cat review by Quentin Reviews, another great YouTuber you should check out. Me plugging other YouTubers who do not need my help.
True. I plugged it first.
It's really good. It's part of his series covering Nickelodeon, teen / kids sitcoms. It's
the Dan Schneider Cinematic Universe.
And it's actually the Nickelodeon sitcom universe.
Oh, okay.
So anyway, we see that now TK can see Kari's silhouette in the sky, like the Madonna, like calling out to him.
Yeah, they just yell her name. She just kind of shows up in like a portal,
and she's like, TK, help me!
And then he jumps and he just floats.
And then
I don't know.
Gachamon's like, oh my god.
Yeah.
And then they have a crazy transportation sequence into the dark ocean where they are like in the like tubes of cyberspace, like in through the Ethernet or whatever. And like in the Digimon movie, our war game, which we haven't watched, we're trying to figure out where to watch it, but we don't have to buy it. So like we see like specifically Gabumon, Patamon, and Agumon like fighting on the internet. And it's really cool. Mm-hmm. This is crazy.
Yeah.
So now we see that TK, Patamon, and Gatomon have entered the Dark Ocean to help Kari.
Mm-hmm.
So Patamon armored Digivolves to Pegasusmon and helps fight Airdramon and everything. I have a question.
Okay.
Who has Kari's stuff?
I don't know. Nobody.
You know what? We could have cut that scene with the helicopter or the second scene of Davis being a dickhead to, like, see that, like...
Someone grabbed her bag.
Yo Lee had picked up her bag or something.
Yeah. With her Digivice.
Yeah.
Or D3 or whatever.
Or... we could... Well, no, because Ken is in the digital world. So, because I was like, oh, wouldn't it be something if Ken picked up her bag?
Can't do that.
In the reboot that we'll make, we'll have Ken pick up the bag. So yeah, I have another note here, but the dub jokes are like totally unnecessary and totally kill the mood.
Yeah.
So then the Shadow Lighthouse is revealed to be the control spire,
which. Clever. He hit it. He actually hit it this time.
Well, he hit it in the Starmon episode, too, where it was the water tower.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's getting more clever with these control spires.
Yeah, and with the black spirals.
So, because there was a control spire, Gatomon couldn't digivolve, and then also because Kari didn't have any of her stuff, Gatomon couldn't armor digivolve.
Yeah. But once they destroy the spire...
She
can regular digivolve into Anjouamon.
Anjouamon! I wrote Anjouamon. Hell yeah.
I wrote Anjouamon. Fuck yeah. So I guess that means I love her more.
I did it on purpose because, like, she's an angel, but I wrote hell yeah. It was like it was a bet. I was doing a bet.
Oh! Cool.
You just have to be really intelligent to understand the comedy.
Okay,
you know?
Rick and Morty.
Yeah.
Jesus.
So, Anjouamon appears, and she straight up kills Airdramon.
Oh, yeah, like beam of light, he disintegrates, boom, over. 2 seconds.
Yeah. So, because...
Faster than you can say lasagna. I don't know why lasagna.
So, because...
Hungry.
They're, because the control spiral was destroyed and now everyone is free from the dark spirals, the Scoobamon changed into a different form. Now they look more like frogmen from like Dungeons and Dragons. So I should have done more research before we did this to see if they look like some kind of eldritch monster. But they are not who they say they are.
No.
And they want Kari to be their undersea queen to help fight their undersea master.
Yeah, and then when she says no, they're like, fine, we'll just go work for him again, and then he's gonna kick your ass. And I'm like, what is your MO here? What are you going for in the end?
Because Kari was able to, like, break them free from, like, with her, because Kari has the crest of light, she was able to, like, help them break free from the dark spirals. And then also, once the control spiral was destroyed, those spirals were destroyed anyway. So, Kari is very powerful, which we've established before in the previous season when she was possessed by that one weird ghost, which later on is retconned to be Homeostasis, a potential god of the digital world. So, this, I think, kind of completes the kind of things that she, like, Kari's journey into womanhood, like, because we have her in the beginning where she's the maiden or the damsel that needs to be rescued and protected, and then we kind of move into this territory of the lover with TK, and now then the Scoobamon, or whatever they really are, want her to be the queen or their mother or the mother. So,
Okay, I follow.
It's kind of interesting, I think. I don't think it's done very well, but I think that might have been what they were trying to intend.
Yeah, I think so.
So, they all escape back to the real world, and TK and Kari have a conversation where Kari asked TK what he meant when he said that he really cared about her. And then he kind of fumbles through an explanation. And then she says, well, I really care about you too, TK.
Aww.
And I was like, my heart.
And then we got Jay-Z on the credits. The credits song is like a...
Not yet.
Oh, okay.
Because the last shot of this episode is Dagomon, who is enormous.
Yeah,
rising
he's like a kaiju.
From the ocean. He's clearly supposed to be... He's clearly based on Cthulhu.
Yeah.
And then the narrator says, like, who is this undersea master? What does he want with Kari? Will we ever return to the dark ocean? Find out next time on Digimon Digital Monsters. And then we never find out.
Wait, really?
Yeah.
There's...
We revisit the dark ocean. We never see Dagomon again.
Then why was there all this...
I'm telling you, don't slam me. I'm going to edit. You're going to peek my mic.
I'm sorry, but the people need to know how upset I am.
What
was this episode then?
I think that they really were trying to do something with this episode. And then, remember when we started this season, like, people quit on the writing staff? Halfway through the season?
Yeah.
I think that
everyone who had this storyline in mind is gone.
I bet that they quit and they didn't want to do anything with this anymore. I like where this season ends. I think it's a little weird and it feels like it should end with the dark ocean, but I don't know. So then we get the credits and we get the Digi-Rap from the movie, which I will probably play at the end of this episode because it is chaos.
I thought it was fun. It literally sounds so 90s New York rap, and did it just pause on us again? It just pause on us again. But it sounded just very 90s New York rap, and if this part doesn't record, then we could just skip it because it's not that important for me to say that it sounds like Jay-Z or Nas or something.
Are you talking this much on purpose? I don't know anything about 90s New York rap, and I don't know anything about male rappers, so sorry, I cannot confirm or deny your claims.
That's okay.
I find the Digi-Rap to be kind of annoying, and I think it takes away from the... I'm a big, lifelong Digimon stan. I think that what I like about Digimon is its, like, ability to tell a serious, yet not so serious story. I think that I don't really like the direction that Digimon is heading in now with this more horror aspects with Digimon Survive and Ghost Game. I don't like this stuff. Like, for example, this episode I thought was the right amount of horror aspect, but then it totally ruins it with all these silly jokes. And I normally love the silly jokes. So I think that they definitely needed to work on a balance, and I think they might have leaned too hard in one direction, and now they're leaning too hard in the other way. For me. Pardon me. I know a lot of people love the darker tone of the series now, but it's not for me, really.
Did not love this episode, so I agree with you. I thought this episode was
but do you think,
nonsensical.
But do you think you would have liked this episode if it was immediately followed up with more discussion of the Dark Ocean?
Potentially. But it's hard to say. If that plot line went somewhere interesting, sure, but it didn't. It was inconsequential and nonsensical. Like, there were so many times in the episode where I was like, none of this makes sense. Like, it's a different dimension, but it's not the digital world, but it is the digital world, because they talk about it as if it was the digital world the next episode. And the Scubamon say they don't know what Digimon are, but they are Scubamon, which obviously is a Digimon. So, like, what's...
Well, they're not Scubamon at the end of the episode. They turn into something else.
Oh, I figured that was them, like, digivolving or something.
No, they're not Scubamon.
Oh.
So they were lying to Kari. But they are Digimon. I think the Dark Ocean is categorized as a part of the digital world. And, like, the dark area, which is, like, where all the evil Digimon live.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Well, this episode... I want to talk about the next episode,
because I don't like this episode. Next episode was my favorite of the three.
Same, I agree. It was very good.
It is episode 14, and the American dub, it's called The Samurai of Sincerity. And in the Japanese version, it is called Shurimon of the Wind.
Mm-hmm.
So, we start off... I didn't take any notes on the previously on, because I didn't really care.
I didn't care either.
We start off at Mimi's house party.
It's Mimi, bitch.
But it's also not her house party because she does leave.
Yeah. Mimi, yeah! The people are like, whoa, you're killing it!
Yeah, Mimi is straight up at like it looks like a college frat party, but Mimi is supposed to be like maybe like 15 at the most.
She's popular.
But she recognized a bad situation because she called her dad to get her out of there.
Oh my god. And then we also get a little bit of Izzy screen time.
We do. We see that Izzy is on the case of what happened last episode. So they still seem like they are, at this point, they are trying to connect what happened last episode to the main plot by at least referencing what happened. They don't, but that's really all they do.
Yeah, yeah.
So then we see that we learn that the G2 team is looking for a Digi-Egg in the digital world.
And they're so hungry that Armadillomon wants to eat the egg.
No,
dude!
That doesn't happen yet. We also see that Izzy gets a notification that a Digiport opens in America. And that's where Mimi lives. So he should tell her that it's... Oh, what if it was... Mimi lives in New York City.
Mm-hmm.
What if the Digiport opened in, like, Kansas?
They got planes.
But Mimi can't, like, utilize that Digiport, like, effectively if she's in... If, like... It was just funny to me that they weren't like, oh, Digiport is open in New York. That's where Mimi lives. I should tell her right away. You know, they could... Like, because it's just a silly line change that they could have made.
Yeah.
Maybe America fit better with the lip movements rather than New York. But... So then we see that they are in the digital world, the G2 team, and they are looking for this Digi-Egg. But it is nowhere to be found, and they're hungry, and they want to go home, and then they spot a restaurant.
My favorite motif, as we all know.
This one,
a restaurant in the middle of the digital world where no one eats human food except for us.
No, the other Digimon eat human food.
But it's always like every time they give their Digimon partners human food, they're like, oh my god, this food is crazy. What is this? And it's like bread.
Okay, but that's because their Digimon are idiots. Like, we see that this is also not a trap. It is a legitimate business.
Yeah, that's true. It is a legitimate
and
business.
it's run by our old rival, Digi-Tamamon.
One of my favorite villains in the show.
But
Great voice, first of all. He talks like I can't place it, but he sounds just like a cartoon, like another cartoon character from my childhood.
Digi-Tamamon, he talks like this with his nightmare syndrome.
Yeah, it almost sounds like Invader Zim without like the annoying parts.
Yeah.
Sorry to all the Invader Zim fans.
I think that he
stand out there, but like
I think
he does
that
just
this
kind of
voice
yell a lot.
actor returns a lot in Digimon to play like villains and like henchmen and stuff.
Yeah.
But we see that it is the same Digi-Tamamon from Adventure 1 that kidnapped or like worked for Myotismon and forced Matt and Joe to work in his kitchen to pay off their debt from eating his food. So, but he's turned over a new leaf. He's turned over a new shell. Digi-Tamamon, if you haven't caught on, is just a he's a Digimon inside of an egg. He's an eggshell with legs.
Yeah.
Because Digitama is what they call the Digi eggs in the Japanese version.
I'm obsessed with him.
So, they're trying to pay for their food, and Yoli gets into an argument with Digi-Tamamon over how they're going to pay. And Yoli is being kind of a Karen in this episode. Like, she's
being awful.
Yeah,
she gets mad that he wants them to pay her. He wants them to pay for their food.
She gets initially frustrated because Digi-Tamamon only accepts Digi-dollars.
Yeah, they're in the digital world.
And not their human money. And so I think Yoli gets offended by that.
Okay,
and
but
it sounds like almost maybe in like the original version that maybe he only takes American dollars and not like yen.
Yeah, because like imagine,
which would make more sense. That's what they should have just done.
Yeah, because picture this: you run a restaurant in Boston, Massachusetts. I almost said Boston, New York. Boston, Massachusetts. You run a seafood restaurant. It's great. The bill's $100. Someone comes in and tries to give you 100 yen. You're like, A, what do I do with this? B, the conversion rate's not the same. And Karen, Yoli is like, how could you not accept my completely different type of currency?
Okay, but first of all, this is in a fictional world. Like, it's in a non-human world to begin with. So, and also, like...
So there isn't even an existing conversion.
It was clear to me that they also ate, like, Japanese-style food based upon what their dishes were. So I think in the sub, it must be that he doesn't take their, yen, and Yoli, I think, probably feels discriminated against.
Yes.
And so she's all mad in the dub that we watched. It does feel very silly, but...
Wait, before. She also, in yelling at him, and like explaining the situation to the others, she misses out. She stumbles over such an easy insult. She calls him a loghead. When he is literally an egghead. She could have called him an egghead, and she's like, this loghead over here, and I'm like, girl.
She calls him a lughead waiter, which...
lughead.
Lughead is like, she's calling him an idiot.
Yeah, but egghead also means that...
No, egghead means really smart.
It does?
Yeah. When you call someone an egghead, it usually is referring to them being very intelligent.
I did not know that.
Which is weird, because then, like, contradictory, bird brain is someone who's not smart. But, so... Everything's okay because somebody else volunteers to pay for their meal. Oh,
I have a piece of trivia that I've been trying to find. I just found it. So the voice of Digi-Tamamon is also the voice of Ken and Vmon. It's the same voice actor. It's Derek Stephen Prince.
Oh, that makes sense.
So he's doing a lot.
He's also Vmon?
Yeah, it says so. Ken Ichijoji, and Vmon in Digimon 02.
What?
He was also Devimon and Piedmon.
I didn't know that he was also Vmon.
Yeah, and he's Vexen in Kingdom Hearts, and he's Kokichiyama in Danganronpa, and Fuyiko, which we knew that. What else is he in?
Y'all cannot see, because this is a audio medium, but I am shocked.
Yeah, you thought you knew everything there was to know. I taught you something with Digimon. Look at that.
Yeah.
The flip. Yup.
Nailed it.
I'm doing great today. I'm being a great podcast partner today.
So we see someone else offers to pay for their meal, And we get Mimi is back. Yes, queen.
Yes, queen.
Slay.
Slay!
Material girl.
And she brought her gay bestie.
She brought her gay best friend, Michael.
Yeah, who Yoli's immediately in love with.
Yeah, and I was like, I don't think... Michael... we'll get to Michael in a minute.
This can be confusing because I'm also Michael.
Yeah. So, Michael is a Digi-Destined from... Immediately, they're ignoring Digitamamon because they're all excited to see Mimi because she is that girl.
She walks into a room first.
She walks into a room, pink hair first. So, we also see Palmon is there, another queen.
And her gay bestie.
Betamon. As opposed to Alphamon. So,
he digivolves into Cuckmon.
No, shut up. Don't be nice to my other son,
I know,
Betamon.
he's very cute. I like him a lot.
So what are your thoughts on Michael, who is a Digi-Destined from America, we discover?
He's coming from my gig, first of all.
You are also blonde and from New York and...
Named Michael, and I'm a Digi-Destined. So.
Yeah, he's really coming for you.
He's cool. He has that fun Jersey accent. He seems really nice. He offers to pay for all their food.
He doesn't have a Jersey accent. He has a New York accent.
It's the same accent.
No, it's not.
Okay, he has that New York accent.
He has like an upper crust New York accent. Michael and Mimi are clearly like Gossip Girl material.
Yeah.
So what are your thoughts on Betamon, Michael's Digimon?
I think he's really cute. He doesn't say much, but he's cute.
He's like a little frog guy.
Yeah.
He's cute.
I'm sad that they didn't let him sit on the bench with the rest of them. He's sitting on the floor.
Maybe he can't get up there because of his little wings.
Yes, they left him. I am annoyed by Yoli immediately being in love with him again. Yoli's not doing it for me lately.
Yeah, I think she is my favorite of the three new Digi-Destined. I think she's the most dynamic in her personality.
She is the most dynamic, but that's because sometimes she sucks.
I don't think she sucks as hard as Davis does.
Oh no, that's the thing. Davis always sucks, and Cody is always good, and then Yoli sometimes does a little bit of each.
Yeah. So Michael is a Digi-Destined from America, and then we learn that he became a Digi-Destined in New York City when he saw Gorillamon climbing the Empire State Building.
Which he thought was just another King Kong happening, which is just a casual thing apparently.
And that happened during the Myotismon arc of the first season. And we also learn that Davis, Yoli, and Cody share experiences with Digimon. We learn that Cody was in the airplane that Bergermon had to save from falling during the Myotismon arc. Davis was one of the kids captured by the Bakemon and was held in the convention center. Mm-hmm. And Yoli does not have an experience during the Myotismon arc.
Yeah.
But we do see that she was one of the many kids who sent emails to help Omnimon or Omegamon fight Diaboramon on the internet during the Our War Game movie.
Okay, yeah, that's what I was confused by. I was like, hers seems random and not important. She was sending lots of emails, but now that I know that that's the context that you explained to me earlier.
Yeah, and initially we haven't watched them. Well, I've seen the original movie and the I've actually seen the sub versions of the movies. Mm-hmm. So because they are very, very, very different.
Yeah.
So that is kind of cool. I think how they are established that these three will be up and coming Digi-Destined
along with Michael.
So that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
And yeah, Myotismon once again. I'm gonna have to edit that noise out. Myotismon set up his own defeat by ensuring there will be more Digi-Destined in the future.
And then Digitamamon changed his tune. I'm a whole new mon. That's not it. I can't do his voice.
No, not yet. So TK finally remembers who Digitamamon is. That Digitamamon held his brother captive.
And Joe.
But Mimi and Kari are very proud of Digitamamon for turning over a new leaf and being an honest Digimon.
Yeah, an entrepreneur. Entrepreneuriamon.
Yoli is not buying it.
No,
she's still in her Karen mode. Unfortunately.
Mm-hmm.
So, Michael is gay, right? Right?
Probably.
He seems definitely like he's Mimi's gay friend. I always interpreted him as being a little bit queer. I did the wrist flick so you know it's real. Mm-hmm. And, I don't want to project on anybody, but I do feel like if there is a gay Digi-Destined in this season, it probably is Michael. I also have some opinions on other ones, but we'll get there.
Okay.
Gorillamon attacks, and he's being controlled by the Dark Spiral.
Wait. Before, Digitamamon makes a bunch of great puns. He says, my brain was scrambled. I gotta look on the sunny side. He's making all these egg puns.
My
then
brain
Yoli
was scrambled.
and then Yoli
I have to look on the sunny side.
And then Yoli has like Mimi is telling them to like give him the benefit of the doubt, and Yoli has this internal like we hear like the echoey thought voice, and it's like he didn't seem so nice when he was yelling at me for trying to eat and run, and I'm like, yes, when you were trying to eat and run.
She did not. She was gonna pay for the food. She just didn't have the right money.
Yeah, and then she was just gonna leave she was gonna commit a crime.
No, she was not. She was trying to pay for the food, but didn't have the correct currency. And honestly, we've never heard of Digi-Dollars before. And guess what? Just like the Dark Ocean, we're never going to hear about them again. This is like another instance where they probably changed something from the sub to the dub to make it like a funny haha, like, oh, Digi-Dollars is so funny and quirky. When it makes more sense if Digitamamon only takes American dollars and Yoli only has yen.
Yeah.
Like, also because they don't shy away from they're still in Japan. So it's weird. So Gorillamon, he attacks.
And he's got a great pun too. He says, I'll drive you bananas.
Yeah.
Which is, aren't bananas more of a monkey thing than a gorilla thing?
Yeah, gorillas usually just eat like plants.
And like bugs, don't they?
No.
No? Okay.
Gorillas, most of the gorillas' diet is plant-based.
Okay.
What are your thoughts on Gorillamon?
He's kind of goofy looking, honestly.
He's like a big white gorilla with a giant cannon on his arm.
He kind of looks like the big snowman guy from Regular Show. But with a cannon.
Okay. I don't really know Regular Show that well, so...
There's like one guy, he's like a yeti. But Gorillamon attacks, and guess who springs into action?
Digitamamon. He saves them all.
He saves them all. He goes into his shell. He jumps in front of the laser beam, and then he gets fucking yeet! He gets blasted. He flies away, hits the roof of the restaurant, and then goes flying off into the distance.
I thought it was really sad.
Oh, it was really sad.
I thought it was very sweet.
It was really sad, followed up by like the somewhat comical like distance which he flew because of the laser. Like they kind of made it look silly. But I was like, oh, what a good guy.
Yeah,
He's proving himself.
A Giga Chad. So then we get Betamon.
No, we're not just moving past that. Giga Chad?
Yeah. Giga Chad, complimentary.
You're lucky I love you.
You need to talk more into the microphone.
You're lucky I love you.
So we...
no, that was funny.
We get Betamon Digivolve to...
Seadramon?
Seadramon.
Okay, I was like, wait, did I forget?
So...
Why is his voice so sexy?
But Mimi makes a comment about... she's like... Oh, Michael, Seadramon's your Digimon. I'll never forget his scary, cold, icy breath.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, so Seadramon was a antagonist Digimon that they encountered in the first season that was not controlled by the Black Gears.
No.
So, but we did see Mega Seadramon being one of Myotismon's henchmen. And then we also saw that Metal Seadramon was one of the Dark Masters.
Yeah, he was like a recurring dude.
So, we never see Michael's Betamon become his ultimate or mega stage. Do you think that they would have had it be Metal Seadramon?
I don't know. I don't know what other options there are. I don't really feel like I can answer that.
Do you think that they would have gone from having Metal Seadramon be one of the, like, final villains, like, very... antagonist, killed like their allies, like Metal Seadramon killed Waymon?
I would say probably not.
Yeah, I think they would have it be another like semi-common option for Seadramon is Plesiomon as the Mega. So.
I think they would have it be one that could be more amphibious so that they wouldn't always have to rely on like water being around.
Yeah. I kind of wish that we did get
like
to see...
because Ikakumon like can kind of do stuff out of water sometimes.
Yeah, I do wish we got to see that him Digivolve further. I guess also the implication is that like there has to be like a crest to get farther in the Digivolution, and Michael like doesn't have a crest, so
ugh, rude,
homophobic actually.
Yeah.
So
and then there's someone makes a comment about how Mimi brings the best out of everyone in relation to Digitamamon and also just in general. Yeah. I have that in my notes before Seadramon showing up, so I don't remember who says it, but
probably Yoli because she has a crush on Mimi.
Yeah. So then Seadramon goes to battle with Gorillamon.
And it's going pretty well.
It's going okay.
Because then he brings Seadramon brings him into the water where he has the advantage, but then Gorillamon gets out of the water, like gets away from Shurimon, and then it's a tough match. And then he gets back on land, and then Palmon becomes Togemon to help.
Yeah.
And
which I missed her.
Ugh, a queen. We get to see Togemon's second attack.
Yeah.
Light speed jabbing.
Yeah, and beats the hell out of Gorillamon.
Yeah, and then frees him from the dark spiral.
Yeah, and you're like, ooh.
And then Mimi is like, oh, well, don't you stay away from that nasty Digimon Emperor.
Yeah.
And then she's so good.
Yeah, Mimi says, I don't think anyone is... They say... Okay, so I have a whole thing about this. Someone says, oh, see, I guess Gorillamon wasn't that bad after all. And Mimi says, I don't think any Digimon are bad to start with. I think only when someone corrupts them or something. And I'm like, the Jean-Jacques Rousseau of it all.
I don't know what that means.
Jean-Jacques Rousseau is an old French philosopher who contested that people are born good and only corrupted by villainous acts and desires around them. So, so he's kind of on the one side of,
Jean-Jacques Cousteau?
Jean-Jacques Rousseau.
Rousseau.
Yeah, I think Cousteau is the Pink Panther detective.
No, I don't think so.
Isn't he Detective Cousteau in the Pink Panther?
No, I think
Cousteau.
Yeah.
But so, yeah, he's on one of the three sides of human morality.
I think a lot of this episode, though, is dictated by Mimi's Japanese crest, which is different than her American dub. Because in the American dub, her crest is called sincerity.
Mm-hmm.
And I kind of get where they're going from that. Mimi is very honest with how she feels. She's honest with her feelings and her emotions and how she feels with other people. And but purity is her Japanese crest. And I kind of also get that vibe from her. Like, Mimi believes in the good in everybody. She wants the best for everyone. So I think that this thematically is confusing. So, Yoli is so thirsty for Michael. Like, calm down, girl.
Mm-hmm.
It's just not. It's not a cute look.
It's giving me desperate.
Yeah. It's giving desperate love. Then we see rolling out of the wood. Oh, TK and Kari left to go find Digitamamon.
Yeah.
And then Digitamamon, not even 2 seconds later, rolls out of the woods.
Yeah.
But he's dun dun dun
pissed,
evil. So, but Mimi doesn't believe that. Mimi believes that there's good in every mon.
Yeah, and she's telling everyone to give him the benefit of the doubt, and then he pushes her down.
Digitamamon tackles Mimi to the ground.
Yeah,
and then
he's like, I'm not good, I'm evil.
That's it, we're done, and they're gonna digivolve and kick his ass.
The one you saw inside the restaurant was a fake. I'm the real angry Digitamamon, blah 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 blah.
Yeah.
So then Mimi says, Yoli, I need you to just talk to him and get this figured out. And then Yoli uses her Karening for good, I wrote.
Yeah, Yoli has a whole speech about how she should be more honest with her feelings. Like, when she sees a cute boy,
she shouldn't do it by first impressions. Also,
she shouldn't go judge by first impressions. Like, when she sees a cute boy, I think that this is still residual from her having such a crush on Ken, and then him turning out to be the Digimon Emperor.
Yes.
So, but because if she has but then she says that when she gets all goo-goo-eyed when she meets a cute boy, and they could be an awesome guy like TK, or they could be a total jerk like Davis.
And Davis is like, hey!
But I was like, why don't you just say they could be an awesome guy like TK or Michael, and then they could be a total jerk like the Digimon Emperor.
Because we all know that she still maybe wants a little piece of that secretly.
Well, we'll get there. We'll talk about it. So, because she has this kind of revelation, the Digi-Egg of Sincerity appears for Yoli. So now she has 2 Digi-Eggs as well. Halsemon says, well, let's use it. And then, Hawkmon Armor Digivolve 2! Shurimon, the Samurai of Sincerity.
He's so cool. He's my favorite Digimon.
Yeah, he's
of
your
this
favorite one
season so far. Yeah. He's very cool. He's like a ninja star with arms that are extendable ninja stars.
So they're fighting. So you really like Shurimon.
Yeah, he's cool, calm, collected, and he's actually good in battle. And yeah, I like him a lot. He's got a really cool design. Yeah.
So they're battling Digitamamon. It's not working. Digimon has a great line about how Digimon uses his attack and he's like, rock kraken, and then he like tries to dig into Digitamamon's shell. And then he goes, looks like I need an egg cracking attack. It was funny. So then Shurimon spots that the dark spiral is hidden inside Digitamamon. So he uses his attack, which is double star.
Which, another example of the GD Emperor getting better at his tactics, that the spiral was hidden.
Yeah, even though Digitamamon's eyes are normally yellow, and his eyes were like bright red. So Shurimon destroys the dark spiral inside of him. Well, first he pierces through his like inner shell, and he's like, you could have poked my eye out with this thing. And then he sends his nightmare syndrome attack. I like Digitamamon's voice; it's really fun. And they stop it from hitting Yoli. And then Shurimon sends his other double star inside of Digitamamon. And what did you think about the inside of Digitamamon?
Wait, what do you mean? We didn't see it.
Yes, we did. It was straight up space was inside Digitamamon.
Oh, yeah.
It was like stars and planets and then just a dark spiral in the middle. Like,
yeah, it was spooky, but kind of cool.
It was weird, yeah. So he frees Digitamamon, and Digitamamon is back to being their friend, and he's sorry for attacking them.
Yeah.
And then Yoli learns to not be so judgmental, and Mimi
decides that all Digimon are inherently good except Sukumon and Chumon, because she punches them.
No, she decides that she doesn't care about appearances, but Sukumon and Chumon are still trying to hit on her, and she doesn't suffer no fools.
So she punches them and they fly away.
Yeah, good for her. What a queen.
What a queen. Don't mess with her.
Yeah. So then the episode is ending, and Michael asks Yoli out on a date. Weird. Did not like that. It just felt weird, and it felt like maybe that's not what he asked her in the sub. But maybe he told her something else. Like maybe like
I'm gay.
Hey,
so don't get your hopes up.
I don't know if like Yoli is as boy crazy in the sub.
I feel like she has to be. She gets hearts in her eyes. They can't animate that and explain it in a way as anything else. I think she is just boy crazy.
Yeah. So, do you think that we'll see more international Digidestined?
Yes, we will.
So, our final episode today is episode 15, Big Trouble in Little Edo, or Shurimon's Martial Arts.
More Shurimon action, which I like.
Yeah, big Shurimon fans here.
Mm-hmm.
So, I felt like from the beginning, this was a weirdly placed episode.
Yes.
This is the one where I definitely was like, Michael of TwoGaysPod, not Michael of New York City Digidestined. I was like, Michael is going to feel like this is a weirdly placed episode. And honestly, I kind of have to agree.
Yeah, so here's my thing now. We had this whole big, like pivot point. This big, huge moment where Ken leaves the real world and moves to the digital world permanently to start taking stuff over more quickly. And then immediately after that, we have I remember exactly which episode that was. We have 5 or 6 episodes that really have nothing to do with that at all.
Well,
we
are seeing that Ken, because we did see in the Dark Ocean episode that Ken, there's dark spiders. We saw on the computer screen that there's still dark spiders all over the place.
Yeah, but we're not seeing Ken himself.
Well, we did see him kidnap Agumon and force Agumon into his servitude.
Yeah,
and we haven't really seen him since then. So
yeah, it's
but
just
we do
weird.
keep
it's
getting
weird.
hints about a master plan.
It feels like they had all this momentum built up, and then they're like, okay, now we gotta stall for 8 episodes with other stuff before we can resume that momentum. And it's so strange when these episodes could have been episodes 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 or whatever, and then Ken could have decided that he had enough and was leaving the regular world. Because I kind of felt like that conclusion came too fast.
I think that they needed more episodes to give us new Digivolutions. So I like that the new Digivolution episodes are placed here. I do think that we could have gotten, like, I think I said in our last episode that I kind of feel like maybe that Yoli could have started out with Shurimon.
Mm-hmm.
And then we could have gotten Halsimon in that episode in the OK Corral. But I did really like that episode with Digitamamon, so I'm not mad at it.
I liked that episode. This episode is kind of just a villain of the week episode.
So let's get it started at hot.
Yeah, it gets started with Davis talking about all my girlfriends.
Well, no, Davis and Demi Vimon are taking a bath together, which I think in an American context is weird, but baths have a lot more of a familial value in Japanese culture.
Yeah, I didn't see it as that weird.
I just wanted to let our listeners know that. I don't know if anyone else knew that. I mean, I took only 2 semesters of Japanese, but that is the thing I learned about it. So, Davis does make a thing where Demi Vimon stinks, and he's like, if you stink, that this all my girlfriends are gonna think that smell's coming from me, and we were like, what girlfriends? You nerd. And then we see outside in the Motomiya home, that's Davis's last name, that Davis's parents are kind of like just laughing at a TV show. And then June.
Bitch, that's June.
Here's like Davis talking to somebody.
Mm-hmm.
And June is like, I think my family has gone nuts. So, and then we cut to Yoli's family's house. And on the news that Yoli is watching, or she's watching TV, but then the news cuts in and says that Ken Ichijoshi, boy genius, has been missing for 2 months. So we know that 2 months has passed since he was last in the human world.
Which is a long-ass time.
Yeah. So I feel like this adventure is so much more grand than the first season, because the first season's adventure, like, technically, according to our world's time, only took place over, like, a...
Right, yeah.
Which is wild. Like... This definitely feels more grand because it is, like, taking place kind of over their school year. So, then we see that Yoli's dad changes the channel.
And she's grumpy again.
And she's mad. But she's a teenage girl. She's obviously going to be grumpy about it. I think that Yoli is a very realistic depiction and not an offensive depiction of a teenage girl.
That's fair.
I think that I think they had to do a bit with Yoli where they had to make her different enough from Mimi, but similar enough to Sora.
Yeah.
Because they're like, and I think, honestly, they were like, well, we have to think of a third personality for a girl. We got boring, in distress, and sassy already. What else could we have? So now we have sassy nerd, who's boy crazy. So then we also see Yoli's brother. He steps on Poramon.
Yeah, and she gets mad at him.
Well, yeah, because that's her older brother.
Yeah.
And he's annoying her like older brothers do.
Mm-hmm.
I will not take this Yoli slander.
Okay. You can edit it out.
So, then we cut to the digital world and we see Gekkomon.
We see Gekkomon and we see Shogun Gekkomon.
I love Gekkomon. I think they're so cute.
I kind of like how they're always panicked.
Yeah.
It's like relatable.
They sound like the one fish from Finding Nemo that's like, oh my gosh, Nemo's swimming out to sea!
Yeah.
And then they are running to get Shogun Gekkomon, who I think is now called in the English and Japanese Tonosoma Gekkomon.
Oh.
Because I think that Shogun might be actually kind of an offensive term. I'm not sure.
Oh.
But I think it might be just like an ignorant term.
Okay.
But he's called Shogun Gekkomon in this dub, and I'm not really sure about that.
Shogun was a title of military dictators of Japan during most of the period spanning from 1185 to 1868. They were appointed by the emperor, and they were the de facto rulers of the country. So it's kind of like prime minister, but like with a military element.
So maybe they wanted to convey a different message with it instead of it being like a dictator kind of thing. So it's not really that offensive. It's just maybe not the correct term.
Yeah.
But we'll keep going with Shogun because that's what they're calling him.
Yeah, and we get a great line from him because he rises up and sees the problem and goes, "Gadzooks!"
Oh, well, the problem is that the Digimon Emperor has erected a control spire in their territory.
Yeah, and it's a whole, like, nice little town with, like, houses and buildings.
It is very much like, traditional, like, Edo period Japan.
Yeah. And there's plenty of Florimon and Mushroomon?
Mushroomon. What are your thoughts on Florimon and Mushroomon?
Florimon's voice is insane, first of all.
Florimon!
Florimon talks like this! It's wild!
Oh my god, my mic.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, Florimon's voice. I thought that Florimon was maybe being played by a man.
Oh, definitely.
I think it might be a woman.
Florimon sounds like Toad.
Yeah. And
like Mario Toad.
Mushroomon are cute.
Which is ironic because Mushroommon's right there and it should sound like Toad if they want to really do that.
So,
but I'm not sure if Toad had been ever voice acted before the time this show came out.
So the Geckomon can't really get Shogun Geckomon to do anything about the situation.
Yeah, he's like a incompetent figurehead leader, basically.
Yeah, he
always wants to sleep.
He's kind of lazy, which honestly, big mood. I always want to sleep too. I really like. You know who else really cute? Otamamon. Otamamon are so cute. The little tadpole guys.
Oh yeah, they're very good.
So then we cut back to they made a plan the previous night after Yoli's brother annoyed her to go to the digital world.
Mm-hmm.
So they wind up in this. Oh, but before they go into the digital world,
Yoli's got a cool hat.
We see they're all in their outfits from the movie.
Oh, that's
so
what that
everyone
was.
has a different outfit, including TK and Kari. Kari has a cool little neck handkerchief. So then they go into the digital world, and everyone gets out of their cool weekend clothes into their stupid Digiworld outfits, including TK and Kari. TK and Kari are in their normal outfits now.
Huh.
Yeah, so I do still like your theory of they're wearing these dorky outfits because it's their armor, and the armor Digivolution. You came up with that theory.
I did?
Yeah, and
I'm a genius. I don't remember that at all.
I told you I had no idea why they transitioned from being
I don't remember that at all.
In their day clothes.
Yeah, and then Yoli turns to looking like Amelia Earhart when she's in the digital world.
So,
well, look at me go.
Maybe it's because she's got the flying Digimon.
Maybe it's Maybelline.
So then
no, okay.
Then they're surrounded in this town by Florimon and Mushroomon, and they're all gonna attack them.
Mm-hmm. And they now all have black spires on
dark
them.
rings, yeah.
Dark, yeah.
So then we get to see the base form Digimon fight instead of them all armored Digivolving right away.
Mm-hmm.
And we get to see Gatomon has a secondary attack because Florimon's like, "You're no match for me, Gatomon!" Mm-hmm. And then Gatomon's eyes grow big, and she's like, "Cat's eye hypnotism."
Oh, right.
And Florimon's like, "Oh, I'm too tired. I don't feel like fighting anymore."
Yeah, it was funny.
And then we get to see Armadillomon fights, and he rolls people down with his shell, and Hawkmon uses his feather like a shuriken, like a throwing knife.
Mm-hmm.
So Hawkmon goes toe to toe with Ninjamon.
Yeah, who is not being controlled by a black.
Yeah, he is.
He is?
Yeah, he is.
Oh, okay. Oops.
Ninjamon's voice is just Agumon's voice pitched up a little bit.
Wait, literally?
Yeah.
Oh, that's funny.
I'm not sure. I know it's the same voice actor. I'm not sure if they're actually, if they had that kind of... I know that a lot of the dubbing in this time period was kind of slapdash a little bit, so
because I noted that his voice does not fit his, vibe at all.
Yeah.
His vibe is very, ninja, secretive,
so,
cool under pressure. And his voice is kind of like this. It's kind of just a weird, anime voice.
Well, his voice is like this. It's very, obviously Agumon, and it's pitched up very high.
Yeah, it's weird. It doesn't fit. It doesn't seem...
It definitely fits with the, let's make everything, more goofy
yes
vibe. But
yes.
Not, oh, this is a threatening character. And yeah. Ninjamon proves to be quite threatening. So... he goes toe-to-toe with Shurimon in this kind of badass sequence.
Yeah, well, Yoli's you'll have to settle for being the second best ninja around here.
Yeah.
And the first is Shurimon.
So then there's a big fight, and everyone's being overwhelmed by how many Floramon and Mushroomon there are. So, but Geckomon and Otamamon tell them to come with them and hide in the sewers.
Mm-hmm.
Which, Digimon survive? If you know, you know.
I don't.
I gotta get back to playing it. I started playing it again after having to restart Chapter 9. So we see that Geckomon and Otamamon are hiding in the sewer with Shogun Geckomon, and they don't want to be slaves to the Emperor anymore.
No.
After they already were in Mimi's first episode. And then they asked Shogun Geckomon if he has any ideas. His big idea is to just take a nap. Which, honestly, big mood. I also always want to take a nap.
Yeah, it was a bad idea, though, because they immediately get punished for it.
Well, Ninjamon sneaks in,
as ninjas tend to do,
into their like underground base, and he slaps a dark spiral on Shogun Geckomon,
who is huge.
He is huge, yeah,
and then rampages.
Powerful. So then, Geckomon and Otamamon are like trying to run away, and then they beg the kids for help. Vmon saves a little Otamamon from getting crushed.
Mm-hmm.
And Geckomon says he's being obnoxious, but we like him.
Yeah, it's great. I wrote that as well. It's very good.
And then we get a 2.5-3 minute sequence of everybody armor digivolving.
Yeah, with the really high pitch. Yeah, that way don't need. Yeah.
And I'm like, the only one that we need to hear is
sure.
Armadillomon, armor digivolve too, because it's fun.
Yeah.
But we also see, before Hawkmon armor digivolves, a shuriken is thrown, and there's a note on it from Shurimon. Or from Ninjamon, challenging Shurimon to a duel.
Yeah, to determine the ultimate ninja.
Yeah. So, then we get a fight between them. So it's a struggle for everybody to take on all the Floramon and Mushroomon. That's mainly what Raidramon and Digmon are doing.
Mm-hmm.
And then we see Pegasusmon and Nefertimon are trying to take on Shogun Geckomon, but he's really strong. And I'm at this point like, why are you
not attacking
wasting your time fighting him when you could be attacking the Spire? And then they decide that they're gonna have Shogun Geckomon attack the Spire, which I was like, fair enough. So then he destroys the Spire, and then all of the Floramon and Mushroommon are freed, but then his dark spiral is not destroyed.
Yeah, this episode again.
Confusing. So Shurimon versus Ninjamon Part 2, the remix.
It's a cool battle. It's a good battle. Very
Shurimon
lots of ninja
wins,
stuff happening.
Obviously.
Yeah.
And he wins because Ninjamon's dark ring is destroyed. And then he has a brief moment, and then Ninjamon still wants to fight him.
Yeah, so is Ninjamon just a bad guy?
No, I think it's a battle of honor.
Oh, okay.
So Yoli, after Shurimon wins, thinks that Shurimon is the coolest, and Shurimon's like, "Oh, Yoli."
Yeah, he blushes. It's very cute.
Yeah, it's very
cute. He blushes on his
little mask.
Yeah, his little mask. Yeah, and then at this point in my notes, I wrote, we haven't seen Ken in a while, and then immediately it cut to Ken.
Yeah, there's Wormmon is like, oh, those did just beat you again, master.
Mm-hmm.
And then
Wormmon's like, sounds like sounds like you failed again, you dick. Essentially, let me rub your face in it a little bit, master.
So then, Ken says they free Shurimon frees Shogun Geckomon from the dark spiral, and then all the Gekomon and Otamamon and Shogun Gekomon and everybody are saying goodbye.
And thank you.
And thank you to Dustin.
Thank you.
Davis sucks up to Shogun Gekomon about his hair. I'm sorry if you can hear the outside. It is really humid in our apartment, but it's also like finally raining outside.
Yeah.
So we're hoping things will cool down.
Yeah.
So then we get this hint that Ken's master plan is almost complete.
Mm-hmm.
So what do you think his master plan is?
I don't know. I mean, like, is it just gonna be what he's been doing?
A dark swirly. He's gonna put Davis's head in the dark toilet.
Honestly, I would root for him.
In
I
the
would
dark
root for
ocean.
Ken. I should be nice to Davis. He had some good episodes a little while ago. Yeah, I imagine the master plan is probably, like, have enough black spires to cover the whole digital world or something. Something egotistical and stupid.
Well, we'll have to keep watching to find out what it is.
Yeah.
So do you have any other thoughts on this episode?
I have a thought on these 3 episodes I noted.
Okay.
We didn't have Ty or Matt in any of them.
Yeah, we didn't see Sora either. Or
but
Joe.
But, like, Sora and Joe have not been that present. Ty and Matt have been, especially Ty, have been, like, pretty present in these episodes, like, in this season so far.
Well, honestly, we have the only character that matters, Mimi, so...
Exactly. I do have my notes. I want more Mimi, so...
I really love Mimi's character and her evolution into being someone who's very caring and kind.
Yeah.
And even though she doesn't put up with any bullshit from any stupid men.
Yeah. And her voice acting is so good. Rest in peace.
Yeah. Her voice actress is the same one as Cody.
Oh, right. And she passed away, like, last year, right?
Yeah. So, I'm interested to see, because they are making a dub version of the reboot, which we will probably cover and watch.
Oh! She's also Toph. Oh, she's Toph in Legend of Korra.
Yeah.
Okay, not in the... Okay.
Yeah. We will probably cover the reboot at some point. We do want to move on.
Yeah.
I want to move on to, like, Tamers and Frontier and Data Squad and
Yeah.
all that stuff. And then I've never seen, like, Appmon. So, but, yeah, we'll have to see. We still have to finish Adventure 02.
Yeah, we got a long ways to go.
So, I think that, I don't know, maybe we'll go watch the next 3 episodes. So, okay, well, I've been, this has been Two Gays and Digimon podcast. Follow us on our Twitter. If you want to contribute to our Twitter is at TwoGaysPod. If you want to contribute to our conversation, you can email us at TwoGaysPod@gmail.com. And I will eventually get this, on Instagram. I couldn't think of the word. Set up for, us. If you can think of any fun things for me to post on there. Otherwise, I will just post my Digimon fan art and it'll be like awful, like phone pictures because I don't have a scanner or anything.
They'll look great.
Thank you. Or if you can think of what I could post on TikTok. I don't know what anyone else does for like a Digimon TikTok, but anyway, Stan Mimi.
Stan Mimi.
Bye.
Bye.
Alright. Ready to go? I'm ready. Ready? Let's go. The Digi-Evolution is up and running. Did you see? Did you hear? Did you know it was coming? A Digi-Destiny starts today. Let me hear you say